Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Nashville Tour Stop Podcast. It is episode 107, the first episode we're recording here in the year of 2024, the year of our Lord, Lainey Wilson. And we do have our first guest, Miss Gracie Carroll.
What's up?
Hello. So we had a false start and we had to start over, but that's perfectly on par with this because it's not the first time I've messed up one of our episode starts.
Hey, no, that's fine.
Welcome to the first episode of the year. Welcome to the first episode that we're videoing, which I'm now very conscious of how awkward I look.
Oh, no, we're all awkward. But thank you so much for having me on as the first video guest.
Do it. This is
So,
awesome.
okay, I start every episode the same way, and this being the first episode of 2024 is the exact same. So I ask everybody how we met. Now, I remember, I think, but do you remember how you and I met?
It was a Nashville tour stop.
It sure was.
Event, wasn't it?
It was.
That's where you meet most of your people, right?
Mm-hmm, back at Belcourt Taps, R.I.P.
Belcourt Taps, that's exactly where it was.
They just had their 2-year closing anniversary, which I can't believe it's been 2 years since it's closed.
2 years?
2 years.
2 years.
We've been
Since
around
it
the sun
closed?
twice since it closed.
You mean a year ago it was already closed a year?
It feels like it was like 6 weeks ago. Like, we've got Alex Amato producing now. We've in the past just sent our stuff to Alex, but we've got Alex live in the house right now. Hi, Alex.
What's up, Alex?
He's waving. We ought to get you a microphone so you can chime in.
He should. You should have one like here and there, like say stuff.
He's also wearing a Lucas Carpenter dog swag shirt.
It's amazing.
I don't remember Lucas's dog's name, but I should have. I should, I guess, inform everyone.
Like Keanu.
Oh, Keanu.
Renew.
Right.
That's pretty.
Oh, Keanu. So last year I got a dog named Phyllis, and over the break I did unfortunately have to rehome my dog at my veterinarian's recommendation. So we are no longer welcoming people to Casa de Phyllis, which sucks.
Oh,
but,
Aaron, that breaks my heart.
oh, he breaks my heart too.
I was one of the people who almost took her.
You did offer to take Phyllis.
I did. No, but that was after. I think I had missed your message by like a day because I had went to the Wags and Walks. I think that's what it was. And I saw this dog there. I was going to go adopt him. He was the cutest little thing. I thought I'd vibe with him, you know. And I don't really do that. I won't go out and like want to go just get a dog, you know. But I saw this dog.
What's your dog you have right now is named?
Malibu.
Malibu. That's a good name for a dog.
Mally.
Too.
We call her Mally for short. But that's my roommate's dog. Mm-hmm. So she's not really my dog.
It's not actually your dog.
Yeah. So that's why I was like, I want to go get a dog.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And so when I went, it had just gotten adopted right before I got there. And then Aaron texted me. He saw I posted about it on my story. And he said, I need to rehome Phyllis. Like, if you need a dog, if you want a dog, please let me know. And so we were in talks about doing it. But he also offered another family before me, and they met, and they ended up taking her.
They ended up taking her. It's a family over in East Nashville that had the fenced-in backyard and the grown-up job salary and everything.
Something that she definitely needs for her life. Yeah,
she was having a lot of health issues and everything, so it wasn't related to like, I can't afford to keep my dog. But the vet told me that a lot of her health issues were becoming like, is extrapolated the right word? They were exacerbated. That's the one I was looking for.
Oh.
They're being exacerbated by being in her crate too much. And the vet basically said it's like, she's suffering in her crate because of your work schedule. And it's like, harsh.
That's so sad.
It's like,
and you know it, and it's good that you did it because of
Yeah.
your good heart that you have. You're like, I need to get her to a better home where she can go play.
Totally.
And
but
that's nice of
we
you.
will no longer be welcoming people to Casa de Phyllis, but I do have a painting of her under my lamp here in the corner.
There's literally a dog.
Painted by Little Lion Pet Portraits, our friend Becca Tremmel, who we've had on the podcast a couple of times. Becca Tremmel painted that.
Becca did that. That's amazing.
She's very talented. So if anybody wants a portrait of their animal painted, Becca Tremmel at Little Lion Pet Portraits will paint a photo of your beloved.
Becca, I want one, and I don't even have a pet.
So,
But we got off topic a little bit.
yes, we did Belcourt.
We were talking about Belcourt.
Wow.
I could talk about dogs all day.
It really is the first episode of the year.
Yes, Belcourt. So that was the first place that we met.
Uh-huh.
And it was through...
What do you remember about old school Belcourt?
Oh, my gosh. I mean, I actually would never really even go there unless it was for a writer's round. And, you know, okay, so I have to say this. So I heard about Nashville Tour Stop while I was in college.
Okay. You went to school at Belmont.
At Belmont. And that was through 2015 to 2019. And I think that's around when you started it
I
up.
started it at Belcourt in 2018.
Yes. Okay, so...
So it would have been your junior year?
Yes. So as it started up, it was just like the talk of the town. It still is.
It was a thing.
But it was the talk of the town. And I was just at that point getting started to co-write with a lot of people. Because I grew up writing songs by myself and getting into Nashville.
Were you not a songwriting major?
No, I was commercial voice.
Okay, gotcha.
So I would still try to get with songwriters
Gotcha.
and songwriting majors while I was at Belmont because I was a voice major. So
okay.
I'd still write songs, but I just wasn't a songwriting major. But because of that, I knew so many people who were involved in the songwriting community.
Right.
And they were like, Nashville Tour Stop, Nashville Tour Stop. It's at Belcourt Taps. And that's where you guys started, right?
Every Sunday night.
That's right. That's right.
It was I think the Sunday night was like their worst night of the week. And they gave me Sunday because they're like, it can't get worse. And when I invariably, like, I started only doing 6 to 8 o'clock. And then the person who hosted the 8 to midnight show quit. And they didn't quit with, like, notice. They just were like, hey, I'm done. We're not doing this anymore. And the woman who owned Belcourt called me one day. She's like, hey, so I know your show tonight is from 6 to 8, but can you also book everything else tonight?
Wow.
And that was when the 6 to midnight Tour Stop show started, was basically because I did a fire sale, what I called a fire sale of, like, I have to fill 16 slots tonight. Who can play? And we did it.
In
one
day?
One day we filled the entire show. And they were like, okay, you can do this in one day. Imagine what you can do with, like, time to plan. And then it just became the whole 6 to midnight every week.
That's really cool.
It was fun. I have a lot of nostalgia attached to that bar because, like, that was my early 20s. And God, saying the words, my early 20s, make me barf. I turned 30 last year, and, like, it's happening. Like, I also told Alex, our producer, that one of my interns called me Mr. Shilb. I'm like, we the barf. It's like, I don't know what about the dude wearing, what are they, Stan Smith Adidas or Converse says that, oh yeah, I'm Mr. Shilb.
Please contact Mr. Shilb for any NTS inquiries.
I don't give off
That's
big
weird.
Mr. Shilb vibes.
Not at all.
I give off big, like, what's up, bro? Vibes.
Hey, Ron.
Hey, Ron.
Mr. Shilby. Like, way better.
It was a weird, like, dynamic shift to realize, like, crap,
Wow.
I grew up a little bit.
I mean, as you're getting older, you keep meeting younger people, too.
Mm-hmm. Like, nowadays, when I have to book kids who just moved to Nashville, they were born in 2006.
What?
Yeah. Freshmen at Belmont were born in 2000. No, wait, is that right? That's right. 2024, the year of our Lord Lainey Wilson, minus 18.
The year of our Lord and Savior. That's insane to think about.
But I have so much nostalgia attached to Belcourt because it was like my youth was spent there. And I hate to even, sorry, Grandma, Grandpa, I know you're listening. It's like my youth was spent in a bar/music venue.
Yeah.
But my gosh, it was the most fun I'd ever had in my life because I didn't have like a fun college experience.
Where'd you go to college?
I went to the University of Missouri. That's where I graduated from. But I transferred schools 3 times and changed majors 4 times.
How did you end up in Nashville?
I visited one time and I was like, music, awesome, let's move there.
I love that.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what everybody does too, I think. When they visit this town, they're like, whoa, music, let's go.
Like, I had that, like, moment because I was visiting a friend of mine who was interning at Pearl, the drum company. Oh. And he had to work during the day. And I was like, what is there to do at 11 a.m. on a Thursday? And he's like, go watch music.
Yeah.
on Broadway, and I was like, all right. So
That's
I went and
awesome.
watched music at the Tin Roof on Broadway, and there was just a dude playing songs at 11 a.m. And I was like, I want nothing else with my life.
Wow.
So that's
That's
literally
exactly
why I
what
moved
I
here.
said. That's really cool.
Yeah, like there's no other place in the world where you can go watch music at 50 places
No.
at 10 or like those Broadway shifts start at 10 a.m., don't they?
10 a.m. 10 a.m.
You played on Broadway for a while, right?
I played on Broadway. And the only reason, well, it's not the only reason, but the big reason.
This isn't an expose. You don't have to give all the dirty little secrets.
Oh, but why I was there.
Right.
Is because kind of the same thing as you, how you got there. You went there, you were on Tin Roof, you saw these bands, you're like, I'm moving here. When I was, I don't know, I think I was like 7 or 8 years old. I would come to visit Nashville as a kid. Like, this was my vacation spot.
This was fun.
Love Nashville. Like, even as a kid,
Yeah.
it was the best thing. We called it the bands in the windows, you know, and my parents would take me on Broadway and we'd walk down on Broadway. And this wasn't when it was like bachelorettes everywhere, like
Before it became
insane.
Broadway.
Yes, it was strictly just if you wanted to play music, you would go to Broadway to get your start. And that was like the only idea in my head that I had, like
back
as
when
a kid.
when you might have been able to play the Tootsie circuit and get like discovered doing that.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't a giant tourist destination the way it is now, because that would have been 10 years ago, right?
Yes.
Or, gosh, you're 26.
So long
I had
now.
to say it the same way that I said it earlier, but
So long. I mean, that's crazy that you're saying like 26 years old. I've been visiting Broadway for 20 years now.
yeah,
That's insane.
that's crazy, right? To say that I've been best friends with a friend of mine from childhood for 25 years. That's the
Yeah.
kind of stuff I made fun of my dad for. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, you've been best friends with Dan for 25 years? You're old. And I'm like, oh, crap.
No, you
Like,
can say that too.
I've been best friends with Matt since 1995. Like, ugh.
Whoa. No, but that's what makes it cool about just Nashville in general, because you get so many people who can say that.
Right.
And then you have friends from like all over in years past who are still here, and you're like, that's my good bud, and you still make music together. Like that's what's really cool about this town.
I don't want to call it insidery, but it's just like, it's such a small town. Like everyone, I
Yeah.
know it's such a cliche at this point to call Nashville a small town, but it really is.
It is. I mean, there's so many people here, but because it's a small town, you know everybody.
Yeah. The music industry is pretty small. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, sure, there's probably thousands of people here like trying to make it. But as far as people, I don't want to call us like any kind of, I don't want to make it sound like we're better than everybody. But like every group has their like bubble, and we all rise through the ranks together.
Oh, yeah.
And then I feel like our class of musicians are like, we're like juniors in high school. Like someone's getting ready to be
To graduate.
graduated into the next thing. Because Priscilla Block came just a little bit before me, and now she's freaking huge.
So big. And that's from TikTok too.
Yeah.
Like, that changed the game.
Totally, 100% it did.
There's a lot of people who have played at Tour Stop too, who haven't, like, they just came into town, they played at Tour Stop, then they start doing the TikTok stuff, and they'll blow up.
Blew up.
And you'll see those people just like go from playing Belcourt to big touring stages.
Taylor Gale.
Insane.
Do you know
yes.
Gale? Did you ever play with her?
No.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
A, B, C, D, E, F, U. She was one of ours. She played the
That's
Alley
so
Tap
cool.
shows. Like, that's crazy to me. She's opening for Taylor Swift and Pink and playing the same sets that these bands like Haim are playing. And I'm like,
How cool is that?
those
You never
girls are
seen-
ours. Those people are our class.
Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what Priscilla did too. Who else? Erin Kinsey. I
Yep.
think she did
She's
some stuff
huge.
with you too. She's awesome. She has great stuff.
We should just
Great
call
songs.
this the Nashville Blowing Up Our Friends podcast.
Yeah, let's see who blows up. We'll help you get their podcast. Like, if you come on this podcast, you'll blow up.
We're going to,
Guaranteed.
or just we brag about our friends.
yeah.
I guess I kind of do that
we'll,
too.
We'll talk about our friends all day long.
But like one of the people who has played Tour Stop a ton that I feel like is just now starting to get not just now get recognition, but is getting like the notoriety for it is Ryan Larkins.
Yes.
Ryan Larkins, the king of country music.
He's so
Oh my
good.
God. Like I was on stage with him the night he debuted the song. Like we were playing the Bridge Bar at the Renaissance Hotel downtown.
No kidding.
And it was me, my old bandmate, Ryan Larkins, and somebody else. And there were 8 people there. And he's like, ladies and gentlemen, I wrote this song this afternoon with a couple of friends of mine. And we really like it a lot.
That's so
And then he
cute.
played this song, and I was just like, oh, God, I'm not good enough to be in this town.
Stop it.
Because that's one of the songs that he just released, but like he's opening for Priscilla Block on her headline tour now.
So cool.
And it's like people like that are in this town, the ones where you hear a song and you're like, my life has changed forever because I heard the thing that came out of your brain.
That's so cool. It's just like stepping stones.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fact of, okay, like I did this. Now, like, what do I do? What do I take this as and make it into something greater?
Yeah, how do I get to the next thing?
Yeah, and sometimes people don't know how to do that. Like, they don't know how to get over that
Right.
step or like take that hunch and just make it into something more. They're still stuck on what that was.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why some people, I think, are one-hit wonders.
Right.
They're like, don't go past that.
How
and
do
it's the
how
fact
do,
of
I don't
like,
know. Either they don't know how or they don't
How.
want to.
don't want to, or they just like live on what they already
Right.
created.
It's like those seniors in high school who graduate and then they're 45 years old and they're still talking about how Joe landed the touchdown at the big homecoming game. And you're like,
Yeah.
did you never have anything better happen after you were 18?
Like, cool that you did that, but what else have you done? Oh, man.
So,
Which is so
you
cool.
moved here in 2015, you said.
Yes.
So what was your background in music before you had moved here? Because you said you had been doing it for a while.
Oh, yes. I have.
Okay, so did you start like children's choir in church growing up? That's where I got my start.
It's so weird to me when people actually ask me this question because music is literally that thing that I just never stop thinking about.
Right.
And it's just a part of me. It's
You don't remember a time when
embodied
you
in
didn't
me.
have it.
Yeah, I don't remember one time at all in my life where I never had it. It's the first thing that I ever heard. Like, I listened to it and I picked up and I just felt it in my body. Country music, to be exact.
Right.
I love country music. Grew up on it, like 90s country, older, like, I mean, it's the best in
Right.
my opinion.
90s
I
country
think
still is like cream of the
Top.
crop
the
country
top.
music.
Like Alan Jackson.
Oh my Lord. Here
That's
in the
my
real
guy.
world, that was just listed on one of the, I forget what publication it was, but it's like one of the 50 saddest country songs of all time.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, no kidding. But I still want to go I want to listen to it because it gives me feelings.
Oh my gosh. No, and I love it. And that's the kind of stuff that I grew up on, and also why I would visit Nashville when I was a kid, because that's what my parents listened to.
Right.
And so I just they came to Nashville for vacation for themselves, and they just
Right.
took us along for the heck of it, because I'm a triplet. So what?
You're
they're
a
not going to be
triplet?
able. Yeah.
What?
There's 3 of me.
Alex, did you know that? Wow, this is, okay, podcast exclusive. You're a triplet?
I'm a triplet.
I've known you for this long, and I didn't know that you were a triplet.
I thought you knew that. I could be. So my sisters are named Katie and Jade.
Which
I could be Katie.
are you the oldest, the middle,
I
or the
could be
youngest?
Jade right now.
Two
I'm the middle.
girls,
You're
one
the
boy.
middle. Oh, sorry, that totally derailed me. You're a triplet. I'm blown away. This is why I love doing this, though, because
You learn
I've
so
known you
much
for so
about
long,
people.
and I literally didn't know that you were a triplet. I'm blown away right now. I don't have
we're
anything
finding
that
out
cool.
so many things about
I don't
each
have
other.
anything that cool that I can talk about and be like, oh, yeah, my brothers are older than me.
That's actually usually my fun fact. You know, like when you're in school and it's the first day and you go around and say like fun facts. I'm always like,
I'm a triplet.
I'm a triplet.
I heard, aren't
thing about
triplets like,
me.
that's pretty common, though, right?
Triplets?
Yeah.
They can be.
I mean, you're here.
I mean, they're rare. You haven't met one, have you?
Well, I know the only other set of triplets I know was the band Trip, and I think they broke up. Me and Alex were talking about that earlier.
Trip.
Trip.
I remember them.
TRIPPP.
I remember them.
Yeah, the band Trip. But I did know a set of quadruplets.
Ooh,
I grew up
one
with
more
them.
than
I went to high school and junior high with them. It was Alex, Andy, Audra, and the other one.
Audra.
That's
and
the
the
full
other
name.
one.
The other one.
The other one.
The other one. I don't remember
like that name.
But yeah, it was Alex and Andy were my friends growing up. Brian? No. It doesn't matter. Andy Flanagan, if you're watching, I remember you, bud. But Like quadruplets. I've known that once,
Yeah,
but
that's really cool.
wow, I don't even remember what we were talking about. Triplets.
Triplets. No, but I grew up as a triplet, so anywhere that my parents would go vacation, they took us because they could never find
Wow.
like a sitter.
Do you
for
have
them to
other
hang out.
siblings outside of the triplets?
I have an older sister
Okay, gotcha.
as well, but she's 12 years older than
Holy
us.
crap.
Yeah. So she was always like helping out my parents.
Gotcha.
They each had a kid to.
Have you
to
ever watched Parks and Recreation?
Yes, love that show.
So Leslie and Ben have triplets.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
Leslie and Ben have
Yes.
triplets. And I forget what their doctor's name is, but is it Dr. Saperstein? Yes, that's
think
totally
so.
the name. But he's like, well, usually when women become of a certain age, they have what's called a going out of business sale. And that's why they start having triplets. I'm like, so if maybe after 12 years of your older sister, maybe that's what happened.
You might as well just get it all done at one time.
So was it a crowded house growing up, or do you really remember much about your sister?
Oh my gosh, Aaron. We grew up, we never moved once.
Okay.
And my parents bought the house they lived in and they never moved once. So it wasn't like, it wasn't a big house. It wasn't a really small house, but we did only have one bathroom.
One bathroom for 6 people?
6 people. And
Rough.
my dad was the only guy too. So he was,
Godspeed.
bless his little heart.
There's no
He
way
had to
he
wait
didn't go into the
in line
backyard
for
to
the
pee
longest.
sometimes.
He maybe did. He maybe did. I don't even know. But the bathroom line was always ridiculous.
So where did you grow up?
I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay. You grew up in
did that.
Cincy.
Cincy, lived there my whole life in that one little house up until I moved to Nashville.
So why did you decide that music was something you wanted to pursue more seriously?
music.
Like when you were getting into high school and you're like, oh, this is a ton of fun. Were you in a band or anything?
So, yeah, well, kind of. Well, like I was saying earlier, like music was like the thing that I just fell in love
Right.
with. But I was always that kid that wanted to do everything. I wanted to prove to everyone that I could do anything you tell me. Like if I was always like, if I put my mind to it, I can do it. And truthfully, it pretty much happened that way, I think. Because I played softball, I played volleyball, I was on student council
damn.
executive board, I was the vice president for drama club. I did
You were an
wanted to do
overachiever.
not an overachiever, but I wanted to show everybody that I could do it. And I think
I was
it was
the opposite of you.
really.
I didn't want to do anything.
But you have this whole business. Like
Here I am now.
you're an achiever.
17-year-old
You're a
Aaron
doer.
had the aspiration to be a rock star, period.
I love it. Well, I mean, now that you know what you wanted to do, which is so cool. And I think I was the same way. I wanted to show everybody what I could do and just do everything. I also drew. I loved drawing. I could paint. I just loved it all. But there came to a time in high school, this just comes back to around like how I got into music, where my mom was like,
Right.
you need to pick something.
Be decisive.
And-
Choose one thing.
Yes, stick with it. And it was costing her a lot of money too. Like there were 3 of us trying to do something
You're
in
like,
high
thanks,
school.
Mom.
Like,
Thanks,
yeah,
Dad.
for
Sorry,
real.
we're expensive.
Like I kid you not, there was a show in high school junior year. I was still playing softball. I quit volleyball at the time. I was playing softball though, and I was in a theater show at the same time. And I had a softball game that was away, but also a show that same night. And I went to go play the game, played the softball game. We won. We drove back, ran to the show, and it was already going. The show was already, it started.
Oh, no.
But I ran there. I ran and I threw my uniform off. I put my costume on, and I kid you not, like it was one of those moments where I ran on stage and I made my part just like that, like right on time. Then that's why my mom was like, okay, pick
This
one.
is giving me so much anxiety right now thinking about that moment of like driving to the gig and you're like, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it.
I was like, am I going to make it on time? Am I going to be able to do it? Do I need to get my understudy like going? Like, what am I going to do?
Oh my
But
God.
it ended up working out, and
So were you in
the coolest part of my
musical
my
theater
life.
or regular theater?
I did all of it.
All
I
of it?
did just regular acting. I did Shakespeare shows. Musical theater was huge for me, though.
Me too.
Really?
I was a thespian.
Yeah, me too.
Look at us. High five.
And so I ended up picking theater, and from there, I knew that theater was really cool and something that I loved, and musical theater to be exact. I actually auditioned to a couple of colleges to go into musical theater. But all in all, it really came back around to what I truly love, like deep inside of me. And I think what made me pick to be able to want to be an artist instead of do theater was because I wanted to show everybody who I am authentically on stage instead of somebody else. Yeah.
I get that.
And I mean, just performing on stage as myself has been the most amazing time.
Did you ever get to have one of those, I call them watershed moments, and I guess that's not an Aaron thing. Like, did you ever have one of those big moments where you're like, holy shit, like this is the thing? Because mine was at a venue called the Blue Note when my band in high school played.
The Blue Note?
In the Blue Note in Columbia, Missouri.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm sure there's lots of them.
There's lots of them.
But we played this show, and it was a battle of the bands, and we had a 45-minute set. And, like, in my brain, there were 200 people there, and it was not that many people. But in my brain, like, this was the coolest thing I'd ever done because I had never recorded music before. Spotify didn't exist yet. And my friends just knew our songs because they had seen us play in, like, talent shows at school, and they'd come watch us in the church parking lot shows, and, like, they saw that, and they came to this show, and they were singing along, and I was like, it was like this out-of-body experience where I was just like, I'm watching myself watch my friend sing things that I wrote, and I was like, there's never been another option.
Literally, that is an amazing feeling.
So what was yours?
Okay. There's a lot of times where I could say I had my moment. For example, I was also in not a band, but a duo growing up.
Okay.
We were talking about me being a triplet.
What were you called?
So one of my sisters didn't enjoy singing. I mean, she did. She liked singing, but she wasn't like, this is not my job. I'm not doing this. So she was kind of not a part of that. But one of them was. Jade was. Katie wasn't. Katie was like her own little like artsy girl. She studied fashion,
cool.
business. And Jade, she also loved music and singing and playing. And so we got together, my sister Jade and I, and we created a band. We were called Two Thirds. Because the other one didn't sing in, Two Thirds, which was genius. Like, how awesome of a band name is that for triplets? And so we actually moved to Nashville together.
Does she still live here?
She doesn't anymore. She started doing her own thing. But we were a band for all the way up until, I think, my sophomore year of college is when we quit. But doing stuff with her all throughout living in Cincinnati before I moved to Nashville, we would do stuff at coffee shops and write together and just like, do things.
Did you do like your favorite cover songs or something?
Yeah, we would do that. We would do a lot of cover songs together. And we'd play there and here and do stuff a lot. But I would say outside of that, I had a lot of moments, but outside of that, I had a really cool opportunity as well. My first job was a live music entertainer at an amusement park in Cincinnati. Cool. At
what
16.
Was it called?
Coney Island.
Coney Island.
And it's so sad because they're closing.
Didn't that just close?
They're closing. Yes, right now.
R.I.P.
So sad. I mean, that's been open for years, but it's really cool that I got to put my name to be a part of it, and I performed there for 3 summers and sang, I danced, I acted, and it actually, like, doing all that stuff led me to this, where there was this, I think it was the summer of 2014, Keith Urban was doing a summer tour that summer called the Raise 'Em Up tour, I believe.
Okay.
And that was the song with Eric Church. I don't know if you remember.
That's dope.
Raise 'Em Up. But he was going around that year looking for girls to sing his song We Were Us.
No way.
With him. Because Miranda wasn't on tour, and that was a part of the album. So he was going to sing it, but he was trying to figure out ways to play that song on the tour. And what he did was every city, he would go around asking radio stations to help him out to find a girl in that
that town.
area who would want to sing with him.
That's awesome.
I know. So I sent in a video last minute. I was so scared. I didn't want to do it. And it just so happened I brought up the entertainment thing when I sang and did shows with them, because we sang that song in our show.
Oh, gosh.
So that whole summer I was like, you guys, he's coming. He's looking for a girl to sing this song that we do. And it just so happened that the performance, the entertainment area that we were singing at, next door was the venue he was playing at.
Oh,
like
God.
it was the same parking lot and everything. So I was just like, we could just walk right over. Let's go and do it. And so I ended up sending in a video literally the night of it was due. So I was like, they're not going to pick me. But I get a call the next day. I sent it in probably midnight that night. And the next day, I get a phone call from Keith Urban's team. And I was like, what? Who is this? And they were like, hey, Keith loved your video. He would love to sing with you.
That's awesome.
Will you please join us? And
how many people did you sing in
was
front
probably, I think there were 20,000 people.
Holy shit.
There. And it was awesome. It was 2 days after that phone call. So I was preparing. I was like,
you're like,
oh my God.
What am I going to wear?
Yeah. I don't know what to do. So I got to spend literally the whole day acting like I was a touring artist. Honestly, I felt like God put this in the moment for me at that time to show me this is what you need to do. This is your purpose. Figure out how to get there. And you'll do it. I bet you can do it. And so ever since that day, I met all the people from Nashville for the first time ever. I'd never been around music industry people, business people before like that. I got to eat lunch with all the bands and stuff.
Did you get to practice with him before?
Yeah, we did sound check, and he hung out. He smells so good too, guys. He is the best smelling person I've ever smelled in my whole life. And not to be weird, but if you have the chance to smell him.
If you have the chance to smell Keith Urban, do it.
You should. He smells amazing. Whew, I would love to do that again. Wow. Keith.
Okay, yours is way better than mine.
But thank you. Yeah, so that was the complete moment where I was singing on stage with him, and I for real was like, this is the only option. I have nowhere else I want to go. This is it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So that was I think that was right after I did that, I moved to Nashville.
Wow. Well, that's a perfect place to take a break. Let's take a quick commercial message and we'll be right back with the Nashville Tour Stop Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Nashville Tour Stop Podcast, episode 107, featuring Gracie Carroll, the first of the year of our Lord Lainey Wilson, 2024. Gracie, thank you for coming and joining us in the house today.
I'm pumped. I'm happy to be here. This is awesome.
I keep thinking about how it's taken too long to get so many of my really close friends on the podcast. And then I also start thinking there's no way I have 107 friends.
Is there 107 episodes?
You are the 107th episode.
You have 107 friends.
It's just bonkers to think about. I'm like, there's no way that's real. There's no way that's real. And then I start going through it and I'm like, oh yeah, you're my friend. Yeah, you're my friend. Wow. Yeah, you're my friend. You're not my friend. Yeah, you're my friend.
Have you had any repeating guests?
I've had repeated guests. Alex
was over there like me.
Alex, the producer, has been on. You've been on 5 times. 105 times. Exactly. Yeah, pretty close.
He's got.
Yeah, I think you have appeared as a guest more than anyone else. Sean Livingston has been on, I believe, 4 episodes. Becca Trimmel has been on twice. John Hollier has been on a couple of times. But it is weird to think about how so many people who I would consider to be my friends and who I see in a quasi-regular basis I've never been like, oh, I should have Gracie on the podcast sometime. But instead, in my brain, I'm just like, let's have Alex Amato again. Let's drink beer.
I mean, you got to hang, you know? If they can't hang, then that's no fun.
Okay, let's talk about that. I had a whole bunch of stuff I wanted to talk about, but I want to talk about the hang.
Uh-huh.
So me and Brandon Ellis have talked about that, and I know that you know about it, and Alex knows about it, but there's this thing in Nashville. I don't want to say unspoken because we're talking about it, but it's like the hang is more important than the music sometimes.
Oh my gosh, you're so right.
Because there's people who have good music, but if you're a douche...
People don't want to work with you.
People don't want to work with you. People don't want to be around you. That whole holier than thou thing, people don't vibe with.
Yeah.
And you're right. If you're a good hang, it'll get you into more places than a lot of things will.
You're right. Like, if sometimes the hang thing, though, like, it can get to me. Mm-hmm. Like, what if I'm not a good hang? What if they don't want to hang with me?
Because I'm the bad hang?
Yeah, am I the bad hang? Like, do they want to hang with me?
I've had that imposter syndrome thing come up before, that soul-crushing anxiety. It's like, I don't have any friends.
Oh, my gosh. And I bet everybody thinks about that, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
all of us do.
Most of the time, I've hung out with you guys a lot. Like, I know how you're going to be. But if I were to come in here and I've maybe met you like 1 or 2 times, I still would be coming in here and thinking, oh, my gosh, I hope I'm a good hang. Like, I hope
people
they like
have a good time being around me.
Yeah. And there are times where I'm like, I know for a fact that I'm not the good hang in this group. Like, I should not be here right now. I can't hang.
I've 100% been that person where you go out with a group and you're like, my brain's broken right now.
Yeah, it's that, or sometimes you just need to like shut your brain off for a second, because that's why you can't hang. Mm-hmm. And you're like, I can totally hang, but I just can't hang right now.
Have you ever deliberately canceled plans because you're just like, nope, can't do it today?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
you have to do that.
I did that not too long ago where I canceled like 3 days of stuff, and it wasn't work things. It was like getting lunch with a friend, and it's like things I would normally want to do, but instead my body's just like, nope. We are ordering Chinese food, and we're gonna watch 6 movies, and then we're gonna sleep for 19 hours.
Mm-hmm. And it depends, like the people who you were gonna hang out with,
then
do they want to come hang and do that with you?
Hang?
Like, if you want to hang, come over with me instead of what we were going to do, you know?
Yeah, I've really, in my old age, I have really started
30,
letting
30.
myself... Yeah, hit that big 3-0, man. I've really started letting myself chill out more.
Good.
Like, I went out last weekend. I went out. Like, I did Village Pub in East Nashville, then I did Up Down afterwards, and then I did Red Door to close. And it's like, that is going out.
That's hilarious. I went out, and that's what college kids would do on a regular Saturday night.
Saturday.
Maybe weekend.
I have been
Every
banking
weekend
up last weekend for 6 months. I'm just like, I'm just saving up the energy to spend it for 2 days.
Now you have to actually schedule when you're going to go out.
Because now that I'm 30, going out doesn't just involve the night before. It involves the entire day leading up so that I can drink water and make sure that I eat correctly before I go out. And then it's the going out. And then it's the next day where my body's just like, you were stupid. You shouldn't have done that.
It's in the hangovers as you get into your 30s. Are you kidding me?
My hangovers got really bad around age 28. So you got a couple.
I got a couple
years left.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
Sorry, Grandma. Sorry, Grandpa. I remember the days when I was in college and I could drink so much with no repercussions.
What happened to those days?
Drink half a bottle of gin and then run a 10K the next day.
Oh, gee.
If I have 3 glasses of red wine, I am no good for day and a half.
Every time I drink red wine too, I always get so sick. Like not just hungover, but like I get nasally.
I do too. It makes me feel it in my sinuses.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It red wine? Is red wine bad for us?
Red wine, only one glass is good. If you
Only
drink too
one
much,
glass.
I think that's where the issue
Have
is.
it with an expensive dinner that makes you feel like, I did earn this.
That nice steak.
So I don't want to talk about the hang. I want to talk about you. I want to talk about your music. I want to talk about everything that you have done since you've been out of college. So I know you've released a lot of music, and you, like many artists in Nashville, are really consistent about releasing on a, I don't want to call it a schedule, but like a really consistent basis. And Breakup Season, one of your singles that came out in 2021, favorite of mine. But, you had a lot of success with that on TikTok, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that went viral in myriad ways, but can you tell us about, before you went viral, what the song was inspired by and what the recording process and writing process was like?
Wow. Yeah, I'd love to. Breakup Season was... So let me start off with this. I like to think of my life and I guess just like my artistry and what I want to say as an artist as seasons.
Okay.
And I think like all of us, everybody on this world is put here to change. We all need to go through change. And I think that's the biggest thing that we all need to go through. And I cope with that by writing music. And so I think the very first song I put out was in 2018. And I started, I did my debut stuff. I started doing the actual Nashville thing, like going to producers and making the songs and trying to figure it out, because that's the first time I've ever done anything like that. And I ended that little season, I think, is what I'll say, with a little EP. It was my first EP. It was called Daydreams. I put out 6 songs on it. I did 3 songs right beforehand, and then I put 3 songs that nobody has heard, and that was what it was on the EP. And then that's when I graduated college, and I was like still kind of figuring out what I wanted to do as an artist, and kind of figuring out what I wanted to say as an artist as well, not just sing. And so I think that's where everything started really coming into tune and into my life.
Life started hitting.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It was after I released that EP, I started writing about these stuff. And that's when I wrote Breakup Season. I had just...
Who did you write it with?
I wrote that one with... and it was really cool writing that song, because it was like a whole absolute new, like, actual life I was trying to start with. I had just got broken up with. I worked on a cruise ship for 3 months, and that was during COVID.
I forgot that you did that.
I did all of that. Like, I was going through a breakup and working on a cruise ship at the same time.
Did you get dumped while you were on the boat?
Did I what?
Did you get dumped while you were on the boat?
I got dumped right before I left for the boat.
Okay.
And then while I was on the boat, I guess he was like, I don't know, like, I still kind of want to be with you.
Did you have a rebound on the ship?
No, I purposely fully was like, this is going to be the time where I really find myself. Gotcha. And honestly, like, I don't know if you guys are spiritual or anything, but I would say like that was like a huge spiritual like awakening for me.
Did you go on Carnival or one of the like
I was
big
on
cruise lines? Norwegian. Okay, Norwegian. I've cruised to Norwegian before.
Have you? They're really nice. They're nice and fancy. You take cruises by yourself all the time, don't you?
I'm a big fan of cruises.
They're fun. I've never been on a cruise but worked on it.
You should go. Well, maybe now, as like somebody who's worked on one, you might not enjoy it as much.
Yeah.
Because you've seen behind the curtain.
Yes. And I keep debating that reason, if I want to go on a cruise because of that, or if I want to go on a cruise because I haven't done that yet, and it'll probably be different than working on it.
Hold on. They're a boatload of fun.
Boatloads. Cruise loads.
Of fun. No, I love it because it's just... And it's something that I look for when I like to go vacation is isolation. Yeah. Because in Nashville, doing what we do is overstimulating.
Oh my gosh.
Too many people we know, too many places to go, and I don't want to sound like we're famous, but people will know us if we go places.
Yeah, that's where the small town thing comes back
small
around.
town stuff. And if you go to a venue, someone might know you and they might want to talk business. And you, as a person, don't always want to work.
Yeah.
And when I go on these cruises or on vacation in general, or like even when I go home, it's like I want to go not be Aaron Shilb, Nashville tour stop. I want to go be dude.
Aaron. Dude.
I want to be dude by the pool with a Corona.
That sounds nice.
I like to not think about
You just
stuff.
want to be Aaron.
I want to be Aaron. Actually, that should just be a GIF. Aaron. And then there'll be animation behind it. Aaron.
Every time you go on a cruise, all of your emails, when people email you, you should just say Aaron. Like that's it. That's all that will come up when you're on your cruise.
My email away message can just be from Aaron.
Aaron.
It'll be
and
like
they'll know.
Aaron Shilb return. Mr. Shilb, the intern manager, returns.
Jeez. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it'll be the day when I don't have to ever think about it. But I do like that isolation. But you worked on a cruise for only 3 months. Did you just do one contract for it then?
I did one contract.
Okay.
It was supposed to be longer. I was actually going to take another contract, but since COVID happened, the cruise ship industry
tanked
down the hill. Like no more jobs for us there.
It's like the Titanic.
Yeah. But it was
sunk.
really awesome. It was so
Sorry, that was a bad joke.
A little afraid of that happening because I'd never been on a ship like that before. I thought about that. And I would go to like the very front of the ship too and act like I was on the Titanic.
So were you one of the like lounge performers, or were you one of the like bona fide theater entertainers?
I was like kind of a mixture of both.
Okay.
I wasn't a lounge performer, but I was in a country band.
Cool.
So I played in the barbecue restaurant that they had.
Gotcha.
It literally like a Broadway gig.
Okay.
Down in Nashville.
The 4-hour cover sets.
Yeah. It was a little less, but it was just like that. And it
Were
was
you
so
doing
fun.
top 40 stuff?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So I did that. And after I got off the ship, that's when my ex was like, like you're back in town, like let's get back together.
Boo.
And so I was fully like, oh my gosh, you love me again. Like, of course, you're the only person I have eyes for. Please, like, let's get married. So we did, and little did I know, and I don't know, like we both have our own sides of the story, but little did I know that he was still seeing other people while I thought we were getting back together. And
that's awkward.
Right. And so he ended up breaking up with me 2020, like around this. Oh, gosh, it still makes me angry, which I didn't think I was angry, but talking about it now, still angry. He broke up with me. Long story short. So that's when the season ended.
Gotcha.
For that time. And my EP was done. I had run its course. And I was starting to write new songs about breakups and really kind of understanding what I wanted to do. And so right out of me coming back from the cruise ship, I wrote tons of songs on the cruise ship too, by the way. Like I think still the most songs I've ever written in 1 year was that year in 2020.
Wow.
Insane. But I had closed that chapter and I got in touch with all these new people. And I think it was time to kind of show off what I was trying to do. So I put out a song called 3 Minutes. And that song's all about women in country. It only like takes 3 minutes just for somebody to listen to a female in country song. I mean, any song really in general, but that's what that song is about. And that one was like,
is it the kind of you're only 3 minutes away from being like,
yeah. So the hook in the song is it only takes 3 minutes to win. And it's just about like, maybe like a music exec who is a guy listening to all these artists, maybe thinking about signing somebody, but they really are just wanting to only look at all the guys in the catalog or whoever is being pitched because the guys at the time. Now I think it's getting a little better. It still needs a little work, especially in radio, in my opinion. But women in country are getting up there. Like Lainey Wilson, our Lord Savior. We love her so much, and I think she's changing the game for women in country.
That's
all
something
around.
that I've really appreciated seeing is the growth of and the visibility of women in country.
Yes.
And country music has so long just been a boys' club, and now people like Lainey Wilson and Kelsey Ballerini and Maren Morris, and even though they're the like pop flavor, like kind of like yourself, but like there's all this nuance between these artists that are finally getting seen, and like it's taken too long. We've been sitting on good music for probably decades
for sure.
And it's like all these people have been getting, and I won't name names. There's all these people who have gotten recognition as a country artist, guys, that you're like, we probably could have picked a woman who's light years better.
It's actually so true. Most of the guys sound the same. I mean, they have really great songs, but it's all about really, I think, the song when it comes to guys. Right. And it is with girls in general, but you just listen to the females. Like, it's so beautiful. What they have to say is so genuine and so great for country music. Like,
none of it's about
a lot of people are missing out.
I say none of it's about a truck, except for, like Love Like a Truck.
Yeah. Well, and Lainey, she's not even a new artist.
Right.
She's been doing this for years. I mean, I think she even moved. Town. Exactly. No, 10-year town for sure for her. But that's what it's taken, and that's what I keep telling myself.
Did you go to the Maren Morris concert at Bridgestone Arena? It was December of 2022. But like she talked about the whole 10-year town thing and how it took her literally 10 years from when she moved to be able to play Bridgestone. It's like you hate validating the fact that it is a 10-year town, but it's true. And I loved it to death because when she played that show at Bridgestone, she took a solid minute and a half to talk about Belcourt taps.
That's incredible. Wow.
She talked about like it was one of the first places she played, and that's where she got her start. And I remember being in the room and just going, "That's my place. That's I know I know that one. I know that one. I'm part of that too. I'm part of that too."
I did that. We were there.
It's like all of a sudden when a famous person like recognizes your existence, and you're like,
so cool. No, and she also one thing that I remember, I just absolutely love watching the awards around this town. Maren, I remember her speech when she won New Female Artist, or maybe it was Female Artist, but it was her first year being nominated, and she was like, wow, this is crazy. I'm accepting this award right here, right now. Like, a year ago, I was sitting at the bars right there on Broadway, just watching the show on TV. And like, that's so cool for people who are in this town doing that. And
it's inspiring.
It's so inspiring.
Because we're all 3 minutes away.
It just takes 3 minutes. That's exactly what it's about.
We're all, and I've had that same idea. It's like we're all one song away from being a superstar.
Exactly.
And one song away doesn't sound like that much.
Yeah.
But it's also so much.
That's amazing. Well, that's so good. And that's why I brought that song up, because that was like the new opening to that new season that I was bringing in. And then I had released another song. I don't write all of my songs either that I put out. I love putting out songs from songwriters who don't have a chance to be able to have songs being cut. So I love to listen to songs from songwriters, and if I resonate with it, like, I will cut it. And so I had another song.
You don't have to be part of the writing of it.
No, I don't care. I don't have to. But it is more fun being a part of the write. But I put out a song called Is Yet after 3 minutes. And that one's just so beautiful. My friends Hannah Traeger and Nick Boyd wrote that. And then this is where breakup season comes in. Because at that moment in time, I always love putting out songs. I mean, this still happens, but I love putting out songs that mean the most for me in the exact moment that I'm going through. Like, whatever I'm going through at that time is the song that I want to put out. And that happens with every single song that I ever do. So if I'm putting out a song, listen to it, because it's something that I'm going through at the moment. But so I wrote Breakup Season was the next song that I put out after that. And it was legitimately the next song I wrote after that Is Yet song. Because that was when, like, I just got broken up with. I was trying to figure out my life. And I met Alex Angelo I think in that same amount of time where we got together, and he was the guy that I had written probably, I think, all of my songs that I released. Yeah, since breakup season, all the songs that I have released, I've written with him.
That's awesome.
And he's produced them. He's also an artist in town. Like, so awesome.
Very good. So
great. But we got together, and we hit it off so well. I think after that, actually, we wrote breakup season, and then the next write that we got together with, because we loved breakup season so much, we got together pretty quick. We wrote Symptoms of You right after it. Isn't that cool?
That is awesome.
So breakup season was the song that it truly helped me be able to get through.
It was a cathartic experience.
Mm-hmm. And it was one of those where this was the year. This was 2021. This was the year where I was really finding out who I am as an artist, and what I like writing about and who resonates with me, and just figuring out so much. And so that was also the year where I was working with this company, and I still kind of work with them. They're called Viralish, and all they do is create videos that go viral. That is the main reason why they make videos, to go viral. And so my little mind was trying to think of ways that could make videos go viral with music videos. And so we created a video with my ex-boyfriend in the car. I was showing him the song Breakup Season, and this was probably months. I think we wrote this song in January, and we ended up teasing it and making content for it in July. So it had been a couple of months. And after I had made that video, I woke up with 2 million views on that video, because people were so confused as to why I was showing this guy. And this was before those kind of car videos were blowing up.
The super staged videos,
super staged.
Back then, you could have seen this video and been like, did she actually playing this for her?
No, yes,
for her ex-boyfriend?
Exactly. People actually thought I broke up with my ex-boyfriend in the car, and I was playing along with it for a second, but then I felt so bad because I was telling people that this guy was my ex-boyfriend who I broke up with us in the car, which isn't what happened. But if you want to make it go viral and believe that, heck yeah, guys, believe what you want.
The staged TikTok video is a soapbox I won't get onto now, but God, 3 years ago that came out, you watched it for the first time and you're like, oh shit.
Yes.
She did this.
It's crazy.
That's
and it's cool.
bonkers.
Actually, Instagram hit harder than TikTok. It got 8 million on Instagram.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But it's been so weird too, because that's what started it all. I've released so many songs since then. None of them have done as well as Breakup Season. It's still my top song, especially on Spotify. I think it has over 2 million streams on Spotify alone, which is
you get $8 or $9 for that.
Incredible. Yeah, $8 or $9 a month. But
so Symptoms of You is the most recent single, correct?
Symptoms of You is my most recent single I put out, and
that came out right before Thanksgiving in 2023, right?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes, which it just was also this past year, 2023, I think was one of those times where I was able to bookend it, and I closed another season. So ever since Breakup Season, I worked on Broadway.
The Broadway season.
I was working Broadway. I was putting out songs. I was writing with those same people. We were creating a bunch of songs. All the singles that I put out were with those same people that I wrote with, and I just wanted to create all the songs that I was putting out, is literally what I said before, exactly what I'm going through in my life. And in 2023, I mean, it was a crazy year for me. So I quit Broadway in 2023 around April. I released a song called Everybody's Got One, and I did that because that was the song that helped get me through the transition and transitioning my life into something new. Right. Because Broadway, I mean, is a whole life itself.
We were talking about that before we started recording, about how a lot of people fall into I don't want to I did call it a trap, but it's it's because all of a sudden you start making a lot of money. Or it's I get to play 7 days a week, and it's security.
Yeah.
for the lack of a better term.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to leave security.
Well, right. And I'm probably the poorest that I am right now I've ever been. I don't have a job
Not
right now.
sugarcoating it at all.
I really am. But honestly, like, I'm so much happier just because I came here to make music for myself, not play cover songs every night.
Not to sing whiskey glasses 6 times a day.
And there's people who come here to actually do that.
Do that.
Which is great, but I didn't, and it was draining me, and I knew what I had to do for myself to be better, and so that's why I left. You guys, it got crazy though, because when I quit, and then I thought my world was just like shattering. Like my boyfriend that I had at the time, we also broke up. I quit Broadway. I was going through a breakup. I thought my life was ending. I didn't know what to do except for write music. That was like the only thing that I wanted to do.
The one constant that you've always had.
Yeah. And so as I was like, the summer was terrible. I got roofied.
You got roofied?
I got roofied that summer too.
Whoa.
And like I had to go to the hospital. I don't remember any of this. I truly.
Can of worms everywhere.
Like, no, it was insane. Like this past year, it's so much happened to me. I don't know exactly how to cope through it still. I'm just like talking about it and hoping that I'll get better.
You did an article with the Tennessean about that, didn't you?
Yes, we actually took some a photo shoot at Nelson's Greenbrier at Nashville
that was with a reporter who's a friend of mine named Kelly Puente.
Yes, that's right. You got me in touch with him.
Gosh, that's wild.
That's what it was for.
It sucks that happens and is continuing to happen, but that's a whole podcast series.
Oh my gosh,
in its
for
own,
real.
Right?
It is.
So, Symptoms of You was the most recent single. Did you write and produce that with Alex Angelo as well?
Yeah, Alex did that one. I wrote that with him. It was about the same people who did Breakup Season. I think it was the exact same people. So it was Alex, Mo Brown. I also had Zach Siebel, if you know him, and Cooper Bascom, which he's also an awesome producer in town as well. But it's pretty cool to see how we went from Breakup Season to that being the first single that was like it, and then Symptoms of You being my single as well to end out 2023 and like have that bookend again, because it's just cool. It's cool to see Symptoms of You. I wrote 2 years ago.
2 years ago, and it's just now starting to see the light of day.
Exactly. It's so fun.
So I know you call it these seasons, and I think that you're kind of finishing up call it singles season.
Yeah.
And you're putting out all of these singles. I know you're working on a new project for 2024. Can you tell us anything about that? I don't want to give away the whole spiel, but
I would love to.
Tell us what you can about what you're working on now.
Okay. So actually the single before Symptoms of You is called Heartburn. Mm-hmm. I also wrote that with Alex. And that was the first single where I was like, okay, I'm starting a new season. This is a whole new chapter in my book. I'm going to get out what I have to say. So I released Heartburn. You should listen to that song if you haven't. It's still one of my favorites. That was kind of about just going through like what Broadway did to me and being around drunk people all the time, but also like wanting to be that person who puts on a good party, like being a good host, because that's exactly what I was when I was playing on Broadway. You want to drink whiskey shots and like do what everybody else is doing, and it was just a very, very difficult thing for me to maneuver as a person. So I put that song out first, and then Symptoms of You is why I put that song out next after Heartburn, because I was like, well, we wrote that forever ago and I'm wanting to like start a whole new thing. I have to put this song out. So we did that one. And after I started thinking about it, once I was doing like content and stuff for Symptoms of You, I was like, this could be such a cool thing to make a whole project about. Because I released Heartburn.
Right. I
released a song called Symptoms of You. I was like, why not just make a whole medical EP? Why not? Like, how cool. Why not do it?
My mind is racing with all of the medical theme jokes I could make, but I'm not going to make any of them.
No.
But oh my God, no kidding.
Dude, Aaron, I bet you'd be fun to write
Dr.
with.
Gracie.
Yeah, Dr. Gracie Carroll. Just call me that. So I'll say this too, because I'm posting it on TikTok a little bit right now. At my next song, listen to this, guys. My next song is going to be called Vital Signs.
Hell yeah. Is this
Talk
going to be a
about
single or will this only
medicals.
be a album or EP exclusive?
This one will be a single.
Okay.
But I think what I'm going to do is Heartburn and Symptoms of You are going to be on it for sure. I'm going to have this song come out. And then I have a couple more that are going to be on the EP, but we'll see. I might do a little surprise.
You don't want to promise something and then decide.
There's a couple other songs that could be really cool. We'll see what happens. I'm pretty pumped about it. But it'll be fun.
That's going to be awesome. So, special project, something this year.
Something.
2024, the year of our Lord, Lainey Wilson.
Our Lord and Savior. She's the best.
We would love to have you back on. There's so many other things I want to ask you about. But since we're going to close out this episode, the last thing I want to ask you is something that I ask on occasion. But outside of the music industry, Nashville is a wonderful, beautiful, amazing, scary town. Mm-hmm. What would you recommend to somebody who's either visiting and wants to do, or somebody who lives here and might need something new or cool to do? What do you like to do in your free time? What is something that you enjoy about Nashville? Places you go, bars you drink at, venues you go to just attend, restaurants you enjoy. Or basically, there's no right or wrong. It's just like I want to know what you recommend about Nashville.
There is no right or wrong. It's you could do anything here and still have the best time, I believe. But honestly, my favorite thing to do, and I haven't really done this in a while just because I'm a songwriter and performer and this is my job. I'll do it. I don't really do it as much because I do it. It's go to writers' rounds. I love going to writers' rounds, and I still like to do it. But like before I even moved here, that was a thing that I would just do all the time because I loved listening to the writers behind songs. I wanted to hear about how songs were made. And I think that was just because of the little like dreamer creative mind that I had, and I wanted to do it myself. So I was like learning from them. So that's why I don't do it as much anymore. But I still think it's like the best, most coolest Nashville thing that you can do because you can't do that anywhere else.
No.
It's here.
It's super unique to hear. And I know a couple of places, like a friend of mine named Greg lives in Los Angeles, and he runs a show called Writers Around Los Angeles. And it's a nonprofit organization that books one Writers Around a month, and it's 3 people. And people are out in LA, they're like, this is awesome. And I'm like, did you know you can go to Nashville and do this every day of the week?
Every day.
You can watch Writers Rounds from 6 to midnight, literally every day.
There's a writers round going on every minute, second.
There's probably
every
one
venue.
happening right now as we speak.
For sure. But I would say my final answer to your question is going to the listening room.
That's a wonderful spot.
And seeing a show there.
It is the pinnacle of Writers Around success. Is that the right word? Do you know what I mean?
I would say that.
But it's like, it's designed for the Writers Round. Mm-hmm. And you don't go there to talk and hang out and jam. You sit and you shut the heck up and listen.
Everybody listens. And as a songwriter, that's like the Grand Ole Opry.
It's the most intimate thing that can happen. Because if you talk too loud in that room, someone's going to give you the stank eye.
You'll hear them. You can hear the whole conversation there.
Yeah. And you can be like, shh, my turn to talk.
Exactly. But yes, that is my favorite. And if you guys are ever in town to go see a show at the listening room, 100% recommend. You should totally do it.
You should come see the Nashville Tour Stop Show at the Listening Room on January the 25th, featuring Brockwell Nason, Lake and Lindale. Brockwell Nason, I already said. I don't remember who else is playing off the top of my head. Tony Salamone and Allison Leia. It's hard to remember all of these things when it's just not in front of my face.
And you schedule so many shows.
But we've done 4 of those shows now, and we've sold out 4 in a row. And we have our 5th one booked. And I told all the people I booked, I was like, I will not book you unless you commit to promoting the hell out of it, because I'm not letting you be the person who breaks my streak. So every time I sell out a show, I get posters framed for all the performers. And I've actually got all of my framed sellouts on my wall in the of my house here. And
I love it.
I have officially, humble brag, I've run out of room.
Heck
So
yeah.
I need a bigger house now.
No, you have some wall space,
I need some more wall space.
but
You
can do, like, layers.
The listening room is a wonderful spot to go watch music and watch music really intentionally rather than just have it on in the background.
yeah.
Well,
I like that.
Gracie, thank you for coming on. Can you give us your plugs? Tell folks where they can find you online.
I would love you. Aaron, thank you so much for having me. And every time we do Nashville Tour Stop, like, it's my favorite round ever here in Nashville.
We'll do another
so.
Gracie Carroll takeover. The last one was a big hit.
We have to. I would love that. But you can find me at the Gracie Carroll on all social media platforms. Gracie Carroll on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, all that good stuff. Carroll is spelled like a first name. Super easy.
I will have all of your links tagged in our episode bio.
Perfect.
So if you'd like to follow Gracie right now, which I highly encourage you to, you can just go to the episode link description and find her online just like that. Gracie, any final words before we sign off for the evening?
Thank you so much. This has been such a blast.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome back to the Nashville Tour Stop Podcast 2024. We are finally here. I'm delighted to get to start this again. I can't believe people still listen to this. Grandma, Grandpa, love you to death.
Let's
Thank you for being here. Y'all, we will be back next week with more on the Nashville Tour Stop hold on.
podcast.
Shout out to Amadio AV Solutions, Alex Amato, our engineer, taking care of our audio and video needs right here on the podcast. Alex, you've been a tremendous supporter of the podcast and the Nashville Tour Stop for many years. I'm delighted to have you be more of a part of it now. But even though that is the end of this week's episode, please do remember that all roads lead right back here to the Nashville Tour Stop